Today I have a pretty confusing laptop to review. It is from MSI, but instead of the dragon, they give us the bird, the Thunderbird. It is powered by the AMD Advantage, but the logo is hijau, like Mak Gao. Introducing this MSI Alpha 15 gaming laptop. Oh yeah, we're also giving away another gaming laptop right now, so remember to stay tuned and don't go anywhere. Anyways, let's get cracking. In 2019, MSI released their first Alpha 15 laptop, and this here is the updated 2021 version with the Ryzen 5000 series processor and the Radeon RX6000 series mobile GPUs from AMD. And just like a couple of other laptops that we reviewed previously, it has the AMD Advantage, which means that it needs to be able to meet four main criteria. Firstly, it needs to be able to game in more than 100 plus frames per second. Number two, it needs to have a 144Hz refresh rate or more gaming screen. Thirdly, it needs to have a fast boot NVMe storage device, and lastly, it needs to have more than 10 hours of video playback. And that seems like the ideal package for gamers who like to be a little bit more mobile and not glued to the power socket without sacrificing too much performance. Marketing jargon aside, let's take a closer look. Being priced at 5,399 ringgit, this MSI Alpha 15 laptop comes with the Ryzen 5 5600H processor with 6 cores, 12 threads and a maximum boost clock of 4.2 GHz, as well as the AMD Radeon RX6600M GPU with 8GB of GDDR6 VRAM. We had previously reviewed a laptop with the same GPU, but with the Ryzen 7 processor instead of Ryzen 5, so I'm a little bit curious to see how it performs with the Ryzen 5 processor. In terms of memory, what we have here is 16GB of DDR4 rated at 3200MHz in a 2-slot configuration, so you can upgrade the memory up to 64GB if you want to. In terms of storage, we have two M.2 Gen 3 PCIe NVMe SSD slots and comes pre-installed with a single 512GB SSD, which should be plenty for your operating system, applications and such. But if you are going to be editing videos on this laptop, then you'll probably want to populate the other slot as well. Of course, for networking, we also get AMD Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.2, which is pretty standard these days and very important for those who like to game or work on the go. Taking a closer look at the aesthetics, you'll see that this laptop looks pretty sleek in a mostly matte black plastic chassis, except for the back of the lid, which is metal with the reflective MSI logo right here. I appreciate this more understated look these days, so I'm liking this so far. The bezels are also not too thick, which gives the laptop a good screen to body ratio. The screen opens up to 180 degrees, which makes it very flexible depending on how you're using it on your lap or on the desk or even on a laptop stand. In terms of build quality, I'm actually pretty impressed considering that this is a mostly plastic laptop. There is very minimal flex throughout the entire laptop, and the hinges are also very smooth, with maybe just a tiny bit of wobble when you have it on your desk. Overall, I'm pretty impressed. In terms of size, this laptop is 359mm long, 259mm wide, and 23.95mm thick. It also weighs 2.35 kilograms, which is okay. This laptop has a 15.6-inch 1080p IPS panel for a screen in a 16:9 aspect ratio in a matte finish with a 144Hz refresh rate and 3 millisecond response time. The brightness is marketed to go up to 300 nits, and I would say that it pretty much performed to specs in that regard, being plenty bright for SDR content, except for if you are using it in broad daylight. In terms of color accuracy, things are actually just okay. Our test showed an 86.2% sRGB coverage and a 67% DCI-P3, which is a pretty standard screen these days. It's fine for playing games or watching videos and maybe some simple video editing, but I wouldn't rely on it too much for super color crucial work. This keyboard comes with full-size arrow keys and a numpad, which got a lot of Asians excited because we do love our numbers. It also comes with RGB backlighting, but no split zones unfortunately, so it's aight. In terms of typing, the keys actually feel very tactile and nice, thanks to that sturdy keyboard deck with a good amount of travel. Overall, it's a pretty solid keyboard, so here's a quick sound test for your reference. Moving down, of course, we have the touchpad or trackpad. It is of a good size, but not really that smooth, and requires a little bit too much pressure to actually actuate, so it's okay. In terms of the webcam, we have a 720p webcam, and this is how it looks and sounds like. 有一种悲伤，是你的名字停留在我的过往，陪伴我呼吸，决定我微笑模样，无法遗忘。Moving on to the audio, we get a pair of downward firing speakers under the wrist rest that doesn't get too loud, and they sound a little tinny with decently clear mids. It should be okay for most content consumption like watching videos and stuff like that, but definitely not the best. Here's a quick sound test for your reference. Next, let's talk about the I/O ports that are quite complete here. On the left side, firstly, you get the AC charger port, and then you get one USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A and one USB 2.0. On the right side, you get one audio jack, one USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A, and one USB-C port with DisplayPort support, one HDMI, and one Ethernet jack. Next, of course, we need to talk about the battery life. Now, the MSI Alpha 15 comes with a 90 watt-hour lithium-ion battery that actually lasts pretty long. With the screen on medium brightness and the laptop in the balance mode, we managed to get almost 10 hours of video playback, about 9 hours and 40 plus minutes, and that's pretty impressive, especially for a gaming laptop. Moving on to thermal design and acoustics, the thermal design here is what they call the Cooler Boost 5, which comes with 2 fans and 6 copper heat pipes, which you can actually see through the bottom cutouts here. During our ADA64 stress test in MSI's extreme performance mode, which pay in mind is a lot more strenuous than your usual gaming workloads, while our CPU did hit about 96 Celsius while pulling about 74 watts, the keyboard DAC actually never got more than lukewarm. In terms of acoustics, the fans do get quite loud at full load in the extreme performance mode. However, noise levels will reduce as you switch it to balanced or silent mode, almost completely quiet in silent mode actually, which is pretty cool. When you buy this laptop, all you get is the power brick, which is a 180 watt AC power adapter, as well as the MSI Essential Backpack and 1-year warranty. Terms and conditions apply. Anyways, let's move on to the numbers. Kicking off with the benchmarks, we have Synthetics and Cinebench scores here are pretty good. Single core performance shows that the Ryzen 5 5600H is no slouch compared to the Ryzen 7 5800H in terms of single core task. 7-zip scores are also pretty much as expected. And with Time Spy, since the graphics and overall scores are largely the same as with the Ryzen 7, I think that we can expect pretty similar gaming performance. Again, Firestrike kinda echoes those sentiments. Then we have gaming benchmarks, and to be honest, in gaming, we're only seeing maybe a 1 to 5 or 6% difference having this Ryzen 5 instead of the Ryzen 7 with the same RX6600M GPU. I can safely speculate that the Ryzen 5 5600H won't be bottlenecking the RX6600M for gaming purposes. We're seeing extremely capable numbers in 1080p gaming, even with ray tracing on, except for something like Cyberpunk 2077. Finally, we have productivity benchmarks. In terms of productivity, this laptop is more than capable for video and photo editing and even some simpler 3D work. But if you want a little more firepower in this regard and have the money to spend as well, then obviously the more cores the better. To recap, here are the pros, mas and cons of the MSI Alpha 15 with AMD Advantage. I give this MSI Alpha 15 with the AMD Advantage a pretty good bang for your buck. #cheap buy 8 out of 10. Overall, I think that MSI is giving us a pretty compelling budget gaming laptop here at 5,399 ringgit. What you get here is a pretty good processor that can game as well as do a little bit of content creation, and a graphics card that can do 1080p pretty well. A fast refresh rate screen, which is great. Also, the build quality is pretty great. It's plastic, but it's quite rigid, you know. And to answer one of my concerns earlier, which is regarding the processor, will it be bottlenecking the graphics card? I would say actually not for the most part. And using a lower end processor, not actually lower end but like mid-range processor like this, does maybe help you save a little bit of battery life, which is actually great here. You can get almost up to 10 hours of video playback, which is something that a lot of gaming laptops cannot do. Finally, I want to talk about the 5,399 price tag because I spoke to quite a few members of the community, especially students, and they tell me that it's kind of hard to get over the 6,000 ringgit mark for the most part. So it's great to see another more affordable option for gaming laptops out there, so that more of you guys can join us in the PC Master Race land. And that is everything I have to say about the MSI Alpha 15. With the AMD Advantage. If you thought this video is awesome or helpful in any way, no pressure, don't forget to like and share, and also leave a comment down below if you have any questions regarding this laptop. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to see more content like this, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and recently TikTok, because I'm no longer a boomer, to hang out with the Mobhouse crew. My name is Shane from Mobhouse, and I'm the Bangsawan, and you are too, and I'll see you in the next one.